Yeah. Yeah.
All right, we're live. Once again, thank you, the Zuckerberg.
Zuckerberg.
You've been Zuckerberged again.
Yes.
Son of a cha-cha.
So what's been new, Tony? How's your life today, buddy?
Life is complicated today.
That was one of them small talk questions. It was just good.
Yeah.
Good old word.
It's like the people who didn't take their meds today.
Who's that?
Just a stream of people, just a long stream of people that just they just hate people. Just hate people in general. Anyways, hello everybody and welcome to the Podguyz podcast. I am Tony Kaz, followed by
Kevin Neary here. Kevin Neary.
Now, Kevin told me to go into a plethora of introductions for Sparky, and I wrote them down. I did write them down, but you know what?
No, hold on. This is what I get at the middle of the day, right? He texts me. He says, "Hey, look at all the introductions I have for Sparky," and instead of writing the words, he takes a picture of his tablet with ink on it, little scratch off things going on for all of Sparky's introductions. And I'm like, well, Tony, don't you have kids? They're demanding your attention. And he says, no, they don't demand my attention. This is more important. So Tony, onward with the introductions.
He is the purveyor of the power board, the Corinthian of color, the papoose of paper, the left ear of Van Gogh.
Oh.
Left ear. Yeah. He is Le Sparky. And
Sparky says hi. He's sporting right now a Baby Yoda shirt right there from The Mandalorian right there. He's sitting in a chair sporting the goatee. And don't forget, right behind him are not only all of his insane boxed toys, but he's got the Podguyz Podcast t-shirt right there. Yes, the Podguyz Podcast t-shirt that you can find for yourself and be the proud owner of on merchbooth.com. You go to merchbooth.com, go to the podcasters section of merchbooth.com, scroll on down to the Podguyz podcast, and you will find all of your favorite Podguyz podcast gear, including short sleeve, long sleeve shirts, hoodies, socks, headbands, we don't have condoms yet, which is fine because we want more fans and we need you to have kids to listen to us too. There is rumors out there, Tony. There's either listening to Mozart, which makes the kids geniuses, and who wants that kind of snob in the house, or listen to our podcast, and you'll have the kid singing Kanye West, fucked Pete Davidson.
It's good to know that we spawn impotence.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
All right, guys, we are joined by a fourth square today. We are
listening
blessed
to the Podguyz
have...
podcast. Babies have sudden infant death syndrome. We are the reason for that.
Yeah, we have SIDS condoms.
Whatever helps prevent idiocracy.
Random stupidness from the Podguyz podcast. We are joined today by a fourth square. We have the very talented Jonathon Freeman Anderson to join us today.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Well,
appreciate being here.
You know what? I'm just going to hand the microphone over to you, sir. How would you introduce yourself to such a podcast of our caliber?
As is generally called, the podcast guys. I have to start out with admitting I'm a guy as well, and then beyond that,
that's how you fit in.
Yeah, I'm he and him, and I'm a comedian, an actor, a writer, a producer, and a drummer.
Ooh.
And I have different activities in that regard in the future. If you guys want to know all my plugs.
I kind of like how Tony just like straight up, got offended on how he introduced you. And he's like, how would you introduce yourself?
Yeah.
You know what, man?
Thank you.
I could have went through the whole rigmarole of, actor, director, writer, comedian, blah blah blah. I could have went through the whole spiel of your life, but I figured that you would do it so much better than me.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm more interested in actually wondering about you guys and how what would it take for Sparky to play with his toys?
Wow.
You know what? That is a question Sparky has never been asked before, and we should totally defer that question right to Sparky because he doesn't talk a lot, but when he does talk, he's always got something great to say. So, Sparky, would you like to answer Jonathan's question there? What would it take for you to open up one of those toys and start playing with them right now?
Just have to ask.
Okay. So,
Okay.
Jonathan,
All right.
in the least sexual
Ladies,
way, could you ask
he is
Sparky,
single.
In the least sexual way, could you ask Sparky to reach into a box and start playing with one of those hard plastic toys?
Please, Sparky, may I ask you to open up one of those amazing boxes of toys and play with it in front of us?
You're asking for a lot here.
I don't want to rock the boat, but I just wondered.
Holy crap, he's doing it.
Wow. Wow.
This is probably one of his doubles, though. I swear to God, he probably has one of the doubles there.
Yeah, right.
It's out of the box right there. It is out of the box, and it is.
It got the back plate.
It is white and average size. Wouldn't you call that white and average size with a larger head than probably most?
Man, that is a large head.
That
And for
is-
those of you listening on your streaming devices right now, we are describing Sparky's toy, quote unquote.
Now, he barely ever whips these out. He normally keeps it well packaged. And look at the helmet on that. Look at the
Wow.
large mushroom-shaped helmet on that toy.
There you go.
And it's
Oh,
got
it
a little
jiggles.
bit
It jiggles a little
of,
bit.
it is jiggling.
Oh,
It is.
it's a bobblehead.
No, the more he shakes it, the more elongated it gets.
Now, it already looks hard. It doesn't get any bigger, does it, Sparky?
Doesn't get any bigger. No.
Okay, that's perfectly
Nope,
fine.
that
You know,
is a very normal size.
it is a shower, and it is not a grower.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
fine. That's
Definitely.
fine. We don't always need them to do extra things.
Ladies, if you would like a hot date with Sparky, he is available and ready to mingle. And
Yeah, if
you
you-
can always send an email over to thepodguyzpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, so
And
ladies, if you want to go over to Sparky's house into his basement areas where he's at right now and play with his package, his toys inside of his package, it's a welcome invitation, right, Sparky?
The welcome invitation.
There you
There
go.
you go. There you go. That's why he is the Monet of the mechanical pencil.
What has he got now?
Oh my God.
Oh, he's doing another. Whoa,
Oh,
ladies,
wow.
that's
I'm
right.
honored.
He
Thank you.
has multiple. This one's a lot bigger than the first one.
Yeah, you know, they all vary in size, of course, and this one is
Ooh, that one's like looks like it's got a double beater on the front.
I would say it's a pea shooter there, Tony. Isn't that a double pea shooter?
Oh, it's a Star Wars TIE Fighter. Or, Rebel
Oh,
Fighter.
there we go. There we go.
Yeah, ambiguous. We were trying to make a blind guy come, you know.
Just if you feel hair, don't ask questions.
Now Sparky's into Star Wars, and I could tell by your shirt. Are you into Star Trek at all?
Yes, a little bit.
For our non-viewing audience, Jonathon Freeman has a "Beam Me Up, Scotty. There's no intelligent life down here" shirt. Now, I am a fan of Star Trek myself. I like I'm a Star Trek: The Next Generation fan. I think a majority of those episodes were watchable and well written. Some of them had some shark moments that were jumped. Other ones where you're like, okay, guys, what else are we doing with the holodeck? Does the holodeck do any kind of lazy writer bullshit that you
it
wanted
does
to do?
everything and anything.
Exactly. It's the cheat code when they're like, maybe we fuck with the holodeck this week, and you're like, oh, God, really? Or the board.
Kind of reminds me of the multiverse.
Oh yeah,
It
there
does,
you go.
yeah. With the where Dr. House, aka Doctor Strange, Dr. House with the go-to, basically, you know, because he's got a fucking cane now or whatever, and he's just it was Doctor Strange 2 was terrible. Who did you enjoy the Doctor Strange idea or no?
Well, I saw where they were headed. I don't necessarily think that they did it justice, because now you can basically pull anybody you want from a different dimension and make them a part of your story. So next thing you know, you're going to see Robert Downey again. You're going to see Chris Evans again. It's just there's nothing about it that makes it like captivating as it used to be, because we all know that, like most comic books, it could all just be tweaked and brought back to life.
It could all be just a dream scenario where somebody wakes up and they're like, oh, okay, cool, that happened, or
Sam
they cast a younger version of like a Kirby and Stan Lee, and they both wake up in the same room and they're like, huh, was that really just all a dream? And then and hit the hard reset button and just do it again. The Spider-Man concept we've seen so many times over. I've seen nothing but failures with Venom, the Punisher, and I'm talking John Travolta starring in the movie with the Punisher, and you're like, why the fuck is he?
Let's not go there with Thomas Jane.
Oh, we can't go there. All right. Or Cider.
But I do think John Bernthal did a decent job on the TV series.
The TV series, it's touch and go with me. I mean, right now I'm at the point I got PTSD from watching the Travolta one, where I'm like, they already destroyed it. It's broken forever. And the Punisher character didn't really have enough actual depth where they're like, so your whole family's murdered for 10 years ago. Are you finished yet? And he's like, no. Batman even, like, his parents got murdered, and you're like, still holding on to that shit, aren't you there, pal?
There's no therapy in comic books.
I think that Batman, Bruce Wayne, would have made a better cop than a vigilante, because then you could legally do this. What is wrong with you?
That's true.
Yeah, just become a detective. Take somebody's job. Give all your money to fighting.
I do want to talk about one comic book in particular, the one right above your hat.
That's right, Ala Brava, the first ever all Latina superhero team in comic book history. So there's 5 origin stories. You got Jalisco, who dances folklorica. She's the Batman. She has blaze that come out of her dress, and when she dances, she's bulletproof. And then you got Loquita, Miami. She's supernatural teen detective. And both Loquita and this other one, Santa, were drawn by Eva Cabrera, who does Archie Comics, Riverdale, Veronica and Kim. So you can kind of see it when you get the books in their eyes. And they're all like interesting issues that deal with like the things that are not like an alien versus a billionaire. It's like Jalisco deals with femicide in Mexico. Loquita deals with teen suicide. Sansa deals with the immigration issues. She's got super strength and fights a corrupt politician named Ice. You got another one. Ruka, East LA Chicana. She's got instant karma. You push her, you get pushed back. She deals with child trafficking. And then finally, Bandita is our Dominican gunslinger in New York, and she deals with domestic violence. And then together, when they have their own team-up book, A La Brava, they deal with like female politicians being attacked. And so,
seems like the Latina Captain Planet.
Basically, yeah. All Latina artists, Caden Phoenix as well, Latina. So I'm proud of like pushing the opportunity for things that you won't really see. What do you got? Like America Chavez, like there's very limited amounts of other. I mean, there's tons of not tons.
And that was even watered down for the LGBT community as well.
Right. I mean, did you see the new Spider-Man recently?
I haven't watched the newest one now.
Well, I mean, they're hinting at like this character, the Spider-Gwen character is a trans character, and Caden created two LGBTQ characters with Ruka and Bandita, and she's LGBTQ, and I just think
didn't they already get a whole movie dedicated to them? It was the Transformers. Or am I
No. You're on point there. I definitely think that the robots transitioning is probably the next step of any Transformers.
They were never given a gender. Just throwing it out there,
Well, it was Mark Wahlberg last film. It's Marsha Wahlberg in the next film.
All right.
Yeah.
He's been overcast as much as The Rock has, and at least Will Ferrell is just like, maybe I'll play John Madden one day. Who knows?
Cross your fingers.
Yeah, that's.
I gotta ask you, John. You're at California, LA, right?
Correct. I'm based in Los Angeles.
Okay. What do you think of the comedy scene out there right now, as far as LA comedians and things that are going out in that way, as far as coming back from the pandemic and starting to get their rocking and rolling back together?
It's finally getting back to a more even playing field where like up and coming comedians can have another opportunity. For the longest time since the pandemic ended, it was only named comedians that were being booked. So it was really difficult if you wanted at all, except for like open mics, which are even more rare. It's finally back to a place where you have a chance to get back on stage at the Comedy Store, the Improv, the Laugh Factory.
The Kevin Neary was only booked like 6 times when when the pandemic hit. And he's a modern name. He's a big name.
Oh, no, Kevin's huge.
Yeah, well, I'm not that huge of a name, you know. Thank you, Tony, for the accolades there. But no, we did get some shows going, but you're right. The household names, this is what happened. Club owners didn't want to take any risk at all. They needed to recover a whole shit ton of money, and they needed a big name to throw out there no matter what. Fuck, they needed 2 big names, 3 big names, and the big names needed to test out if they still had relevancy in the entertainment world, because things changed like that very quickly. So this is when Tony took advantage of that in the biggest way possible. He kept getting us all-star guest after all-star guest on the Podguyz podcast. People were knocking down his email door asking if they can get on here. So we I'm honored. We had a lot of fun, and we caught a great amount of momentum that we're still rolling with today. And geez, with this podcast, by the way, has been around the world. I've gone to the Philippines and reported from there. And I'm engaged right now to my beautiful wife Janice, and future wife Janice, and yeah, man, we're getting some shows back together here on the East Coast. It's just real tricky still, because right in time for everybody to not be afraid of a pandemic is just like when they say to themselves, well, we're all broke now.
Well, congratulations, Kevin, on all your success. How is it out there on the East Coast with what's happening with the haziness of it? We know smog every day here in LA.
Yeah. So Canada decided to light itself on fire and to simultaneously blow the winds down here. Yeah, and there were some contradictions that made a lot of sense. And I'm not going to be the one to say, oh, well, hold on now. Brian Yachts.
Wait, can I insert my Canada joke in here?
What's that?
Can I insert my Canada joke
in here? Flip it in there, Tony. Yeah.
The combustion of choice for starting the fires was hey.
Hey.
I love it. That's great. Sorry.
Hey there, boys. What's going on? Hey there.
Yeah, why would they just put it out with maple syrup?
Oh, that just added fuel to the fire. I'm pretty sure
is maple syrup flammable? Because that's
Canadian maple syrup.
Oh yeah, that's like
syrup, yeah, that is. Well, I guess, were they doing controlled burns? Did we figure anything out about that, Tony? Did you know? Do you have any information?
I'm curious.
There's a lot of controversy going on. So, of course, like the only way for you to fight a fire is with fire. So they had controlled burns. They had, and not even to say like the Americans helped, believe it or not. They helped, but they didn't help by sending over these B-52s filled with the, whatever smoke stuff that they have coming out of it.
Yeah.
And of course, they were trying to help reduce the amount of fires that were going on over there. And everybody along their social media high horse was getting on the old bandwagon saying, well, what's America doing? What's America doing right now?
Well, I think what was suspicious is, weren't the fires set at the same time?
Several started at the same time, but several jumped from there.
See, that's kind of suspicious. I mean, I was trying to get our good friend Joe Armstrong out of the Dirty Soap podcast. I'm not sure if he's still doing that right now or if he's in a mental institution, one or the other, because he's very much into conspiracy theories. So I keep trying to.
So is John.
Jonathon, you are into conspiracy theories as well. What is your take on the Canadian fires? Do you have any information that I might not know about, or our viewing audience might need to hear?
I know there's a lot of sensitive people out there that are trying to look for answers and just don't think about the simplest answer. It's probably just, some idiot that had a bad gender reveal party in Canada and started the fire. It makes no sense.
Now, hold on now, Jonathon. Since there are no genders, you just have to light the whole forest on fire and let it decide for itself.
There you go. That's what happened.
Well, honestly, the only thing that makes most sense is, at the end of the day, the Jewish space lasers went north. and started everything. So
yeah, well, leave it up to the Jewish space laser to get lost in the desert like they got lost in the forest. Vice
there you
versa.
go. Yeah.
According to Google Maps, that was like a 20-minute walk. They're like, hold on.
With crackers on their back. I mean, the Pharaoh. That was the Pharaoh. I apologize.
Yeah, the Jewish space laser. That's fucking great.
That's the newest thing now. They said the Jewish space lasers started the fire in Canada in order to smoke out the United States.
Well, they always say that if 7 out of 10 people, if you ask them, do you think the Jews are to blame for this? They will say.
You know what they never reported? Especially in New York when it was when it was like Agent Orange outside.
Right.
Looting.
They should have reported that.
Yeah.
I had friends trying to create conspiracies about like, where is the smoke coming from? It can't just be from a fire. I was like, where else would smoke come from? I'm sorry. Where did you want to assume this was? If it was steam from the grates, we can have a different conversation. But this is clearly smoke. Where else do you have a metaphor that starts with where there's smoke? ... Right? And plenty. I had people like unfriend me on Facebook because I said, "Hey, where are your sources for it not being a fire?"
So this is something. So they come in with helicopters to put out the fire, correct? So why wouldn't they do that same concept with, I don't know, the Twin Towers, instead of telling firefighters, "Hey, run in there"?
I mean, any plane within the general vicinity after that initial incident was probably a bad idea. Just assuming.
Helicopter, military helicopter, big flag on it. Hey, big old flag on it.
I mean, it was. I don't know if it was an American Airlines flight that ran into it or a Delta flight, but we all assumed they were Americans. So it was. It is a good question you put there. I don't know why they had to blow up buildings separate from the World Trade Center's buildings around that to make it more dangerous for people, more toxic. But that's a much larger conspiracy that I don't think people have fully grasped.
Yeah, you can't want to chip away at that idea, but yeah, Canada's got to get their act together. I heard from some people that it was really controlled burns from to prevent forest fires that got out of control. Now that sounds pretty logical because they used to do controlled burns back in the 70s and 80s until environmentalist groups said that the trees were feeling pain and it was just as bad as you killing an old person because the trees were also old. And, there's only so many times you can present your logic of why you would want to burn down an old tree. So that way the trees around it don't catch the dry out from the whole area. Or you don't have like one dry tree against a bunch of new ones because then the sun could hit in a fucking way and then bam, you got something bad going on. If you can burn that one tree and then put it out, then you don't have that same area getting caught twice. Sparky's got some action right there. He was at the scene, I'm guessing, for the Canadian fire. Am I right there, Sparky?
I was at the scene.
My God, now Sparky doesn't really have a cell phone that has video that can work on everything, but he does have his memory of what happened and his artistic inclination, right? His artistic ability, right to the big board there, the Podguyz Podcast big board. So Sparky, why don't you show what Jonathon what happened there? He says, "Call off the satellites. I got this." Somebody up. Look at that. They got gasoline. And as you can see up there is the windmill. It looks like a windmill or a
no, that's a Jewish laser.
Space laser.
The Jewish space laser right there with the Star of David there. Look at that.
Thank you. That was excellent, Sparky. Great art.
That is now for our non-viewing audience, the graphics done in such small amount of time are just outstanding. Jonathon, you can vouch for that, right?
So quick, so beautiful. Great job.
My God, A+ right there. Sparky, Hitler couldn't draw a better picture than that.
We would hope that he could have drawn more pictures and less killed.
But I don't think he would have put the Jewish star on the laser.
No one has ever corrected me and said, "Hold on now, Hitler's a better painter than Sparky."
We wished he had focused on the painting. That's all. As a Jew myself, we go back and go like, hey, you know what? If the art had been more productive for Hitler, we might have had a different situation today.
Either that, no, I disagree. And the reason I disagree,
Yeah, I think Ava Braun should have been more supportive.
no, I disagree. I disagree 1000% with you, Jonathan. I can tell you why, and you're going to love it. Okay.
Uh-oh.
George W.
There's
Bush
no coming back from this, Kevin.
George W. Bush has taught us all that you can still be a warmongering scumbag and paint pictures of veterans.
This is true. But W did it after the fact. He warmongered and then became a painter. Hitler was a painter and then a warmonger.
I mean, it still follows the same weird little cradle right there, you know. Chicken or egg, we still got some people dying right there.
That's accurate.
Yeah, the damage that George W. Bush did was probably worse than Hitler, because at least somebody stopped Hitler. They just continued what George W. Bush did. We still have the Patriot Act. Julian Assange is in prison forever being tortured. Edward Snowden, who was looking out for the American public, got shipped off to the free country of Russia. What the fuck is going on here?
I agree with you on 3 letters, TSA. Can we just kill it already, end that, and just move on? Because I think it's a little bit irrelevant and over the top at this point.
TSA.
You know, the government agency that Bush created at airports.
Oh, yeah, the Homeland Security. Yeah,
all of that. It seems a bit irrelevant as much at this point. If people in charge are willy-nilly trading off secrets and whatnot, what is the Homeland being secured with?
Nothing much. Yeah, nothing much.
Scotch tape.
Scotch tape.
Scotch tape.
You Scottish.
Damn Scottish. Yeah, damn Scottish tapers.
So, Jonathan, where was your last show at? Where were you at?
I did the Comedy Store recently, and I got more gigs coming up at the Comedy Store next month, and I'm going to be trying to get into the Laugh Factory and the Improv again. But currently, while the writer's on strike, I'm working on my own screenplays and trying to have stuff prepared for that transition. And then I'm preparing to act in a movie as soon as that friggin' strike ends. We'll go back into production in
now being on the West Coast, not to say being on the West Coast, we're East Coast, we don't hear a lot of what's going on, mostly with the writer's strike. Would you hear more being closer to the West Coast as far as the writer's strike, and if there's any culmination to it at all? And is there any information on it that you know of?
Well, as far as I know, the writers themselves are looking for residuals from the streaming services. And currently Netflix is basically, they got them by the balls. They're not releasing information on analytics for how many people watch their shows, for example. And that is limiting their opportunity to negotiate. So right at this point, the writers are stuck. And the management is basically saying, hey, you know what? We could maybe not deal with you as much. We'll figure it out maybe later, but we can use AI. We can use a high school kid. We can use premises that we've already got in the vault, and so for the moment, there's content that is already by the studio standards ready to be filmed, and so they're going to try to make as much of that content as they can without appeasing the writers. On the flip side of that, you've got the actors strike that's about to happen. SAG just guaranteed that, or agreed to allow the actors to go on strike to increase their rates. And then after that, it's going to be the directors are going to go on strike. The DGA is then in talks, and certain things currently with film productions, like Deadpool 3 is a great example. So in Deadpool 1 and 2, with the writers on set, Ryan Reynolds was free to improvise all he wanted to. And then the writers would confirm, yeah, that's a good line. We can add it as part of the script now. Without the writers on set, without the writers' approval, Ryan Reynolds has to stick to the script 100%, which limits what probably will be the quality of Deadpool 3. And that's kind of
well, that's just another thing too. What if when it comes to mainstream sitcoms or movies, they did The Big Bang Theory for how long, right? And then they're like Young Sheldon, right? Okay, cool. What else you guys got? Young Rock. What the fuck?
That's actually getting canceled.
It is getting canceled. Yeah, that's on the list of things getting canceled. But it's just and by the way, you don't even really need to cancel it. All you got to do is call up Dwayne Johnson and say, "So what happened that year?" Huh? Okay.
Yeah, he got hurt.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's why I think The Rock is back in the Fast and the Furious.
And I'm agreeing with you 100%, Jonathan. The amount of people that in the entertainment industry that undercut each other one by one.
Oh, it's crazy.
Or they try to lift themselves up by putting, they say that they're, and you've seen this before, I've seen it many of times, where say they're an okay comedian, right? They're okay, but they'll push themselves up to headline and surround themselves with nothing but crap, right? So that way they appear to be the best out of crap.
Oh, it's the pretty girl syndrome, where you take an 8 and you put 2 5s next to her, and she becomes a 9.
Absolutely. So these writers, if I asked everybody in the world who wants to be rich and famous, right? Yeah, everybody puts their hand up, right? And I say, okay, who will do it for $10,000? And half of them put their hands down. All right, cool. And we work our way backwards with the numbers from that point, right? By the time you know it, we're into people paying for their jobs, when it's where the concept of college kind of comes by, where they're like, all right, who will go to 5 years of college and a fucking internship for 2 years? And there's like 70,000 people there. And you're like, well, all right. See, these production companies have so much money, they could sit on it for 10 generations and watch everybody die around them and put a camera on that idea and call it a reality TV show. And we'd all watch ourselves die with the highest ratings possible. And they're like, who writes this stuff? And it's like, funny, nobody. It's kind of weird. Tony, I'm sorry. You look like you.
No, I was just going to add, there's an article on in Inside Look that actually talks about Johnny Depp getting a $301 million deal to return back to the Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
It's nothing but respect for Johnny Depp when he says no to them, because they took Amber Heard's side and over Johnny Depp's side. I get why Disney would do that. They haven't been really down to earth, down to base for the longest, forever. They talk about, okay, this is how bad Disney is. They put a dick in the middle of the Little Mermaid fucking thing, and then they're like, hey, there's a dick on your thing right there, right? They're like, oh yeah, yes we do. And they're like, so you're gonna take it out? They're like, give us like 20 years on this one, okay? And we'll think about it.
So
and
the Disney animators are perverts for sure. The Disney animators, if you look at like in Lion King, I think it says sex in the stars at some point.
Yeah, they made Naya. They made that female lioness. They made her have this like, oh, come fuck me face on her. You know what I mean? Like, and that registered for us as kids when watching it. You're like, oh, and at least they portrayed it correctly. And I think Sparky's got something in the works there for now. Sparky has been trying to get his artwork for in front of Disney and DreamWorks and Pixar for years and years and years. And they keep telling him he's not good enough. So wait for him to start World War III up. No problem there, Jonathan. It's going to happen. Sparky is a ticking time bomb right there.
From his basement with the Funko Pops.
Started doing script writing.
it's a modern day. Yeah. What's that?
I actually started doing some script writing, and I actually got the picture of me going in and presenting my script since the writer's strike was going on. So
nice. Well, Sparky does have everything that you need to be a good there it is. Don't give it
over. Here is my best script: good guy versus villain, a lot of CGI, some time travel, and we've got cars. That is every movie this particular year, 2023.
Yeah, because you got another Fast and the Furious going on. Is there another Fast and the Furious?
Oh, Transformers.
Transformers. Something probably from Marvel. What's that?
What's the Dial of Destiny? Does anybody know what the Dial of Destiny is about?
No, I don't. But it'd be really cool if it was about like a phone.
Right?
Or you pick it up and then somebody's like, hey, I'm here, come to this location. You do get there because you were destined to be there. I don't know, man. Like it's just
like a meet and greet with your favorite hero.
The Dial of Destiny is going to be time travel.
Is it going to be time travel based?
Time travel.
I mean, it's kind of like Netflix just made their own production studio overnight by grabbing up all these stars like Arnold Schwarzenegger, they finally did something that needed to be done. They stole what Sylvester Stallone stole from Chuck Wepner, the Rocky series. They're like, or wait, no, did Amazon Prime did that, right? Amazon did that, yeah.
Was it Amazon or was it Netflix?
I think Amazon did it. I'm almost 1,000% right now because I keep seeing Creed 3 is on Amazon right now. And I was watching this documentary. It was called Shiny Happy People. Jonathan, have you seen Shiny Happy People? It's not about REM, by the way.
No, I know of it.
Boo.
Yeah, it's about it's about the Duggar family. They had this TV show on TLC. Tony, these people were like super Christian-y to the point where they were they were just like they were if you know how Jesus was always like, turn the other cheek. So they were like, no. What he really meant was beat your children mercilessly until they listen to you. And he's like, I don't fucking remember that in the Bible. It's like, so we rewrote it for you. Here you go. And TLC's like, whoa, this is fucked up. Can you do this all on camera? And they're like,
can you do this again?
Why can't we? How many kids do you have again? Dude had 19 kids. Hell, the one episode, the wife like didn't even have a fucking blip in her head when they're like, hey, there's no heartbeat on this kid. She's like, oh, well, ain't that something? It's like, what the fuck?
But what are you learning on the Learning Channel then? What not to do? It's what it sounds like.
I mean, anything can be interpreted as educational, but it just, I guess the one kid that he had, he went ahead and tried molesting a couple of the other kids.
Hold on, Kevin. I'm going to do the math for everybody. Hold on. Before
Arky's got the math. Okay.
We're going to do the fast math. But anyways, right? They had 19 kids.
Yep.
19 kids.
And you multiply that by 9 months. That comes out to 171 months.
Gotcha.
And you divide that by 12. That means that lady was pregnant for 14.25 years of her life. And she was like only in her 40s at the time. So
maybe even younger.
So she was pregnant for more or less a quarter of her life. But anyways, the Duggar's youngest son, what was he, 19 or 20 at the time?
Yeah, yes, he was.
But anyways, he was messing around with what, a 15-year-old or
younger? Go younger.
Yeah.
Like a third, was she 14, 13,
13, 14?
The one was 9 years old. The other one was like 11. The other one was like 13 and 12 in that range.
So in other words, 19 by 13 gets you what's the 30 to 40 years actually.
There it is. Yeah, look at that. See? Oh. And we're wondering how the judges always did it. Sparky, now you save that formula there, okay? Because you know, so 30 to 40 years in jail, I guess the kid's doing.
Yeah.
These kids ended up talking about how their cult life is. So you're in California right now, Jonathan.
Yes.
Have you seen any cults out there? I know there's a couple of them roaming.
Well, to comment on that last point, that's all bad. That's just insane. But you know, it's fascinating what they would consider entertainment and put on TV, and what they would not consider entertainment and not release in theaters. You know, and that's what's been blowing my mind lately.
Well, they told everybody that Dr. Kevorkian was bad because he assisted people with suicide. But we get to see the TV show My 600-Pound Life, where you're providing these people money to buy cakes and shit.
Right. Yeah. Or I'm pregnant and I didn't know it, or whatever it is, you know?
Yeah. 15 and pregnant by my stepdad, and we're keeping it. And they're like, cool.
Yeah. My 1,000-pound life.
Yeah.
Keep eating or you won't be on next season.
Yeah.
You know,
I know. Yeah. It's kind of decentivizes the healthy lifestyle there. But getting back to that, Jonathan, any cults that you know of in California?
Well, besides I guess you'd say the sobriety cults, you know, the people that are telling you they have a cure, or I guess otherwise, you know, there's health cults, you know what I mean? There's groups that are just dedicated to Peloton or CrossFit or, you know, whatever the latest, you know, eating fad would be.
Colon cleansing, right?
Yeah. It's like, if you don't stick to this exact regiment, you're out, you're done. We don't want you in the cult. You can't come back to hot yoga. You're peace. You know,
no more hot yoga for you.
Wait a second though. Isn't somebody getting out of jail out in California shortly though, on a technicality?
Who R. Kelly? Who were you referring to?
I'm referring to a certain, she's a middle-aged woman now, maybe older, I can't remember her exact name, but she was involved with the certain cult out there. She was involved with the Manson family.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, I mean, sure, she's in California, is probably San Quentin, and now getting released. I mean, we have Scientology. That's like the biggest cult.
There
And,
you go. That's what I was waiting on there. I was waiting on Scientology. You're like, I like how Jonathan's like, those healthcare, those healthy fuckers out here.
Those people who are hitting the track, they're hitting a stairmaster.
You sound like you were kicked out of a health club there. You're like, I had one fucking carb.
Yeah.
These scumbags.
Those goddamn spinning classes, bro.
You gotta be careful with knocking Scientology. They might not help you get it roll, or it might like make sure that you don't, get like your next writing gig.
And we're all big fans of Tom Cruise, and I'm a big fan of any kind of kooky fucking religion of volcano spirits and alien bullshit that anybody wants to throw out there, man. I'm always, even with the whole Jesus story where, and then they're like, then he came back from the dead. I'm like, cool.
There is a religion dedicated to big butts.
Happy Zombie Hippie Jew Appreciation Day is what I call Easter.
Basically, right? Yeah, that's the thing with Pontius Pilate. He says, there for a king of the Jews, you're the only one I know that doesn't know a lawyer.
That's good. I like that. I always said that I wanted to be one of Jesus's disciples because they had to be alcoholics. If he could turn water into wine, I'd be like, yo, Jesus, there's a puddle. Hook me up.
Those parties are getting lit.
If you've read the Bible, right? I've read the Bible, and there are so many feet cleaning scenes in that fucking thing. They're like, really? Like, yep. And they all beg to clean his feet. Why? What the?
That's
and
a
then
lot
they
of
got
toe
really
and mouth stuff going on.
Tony, they get like really descriptive into the foot cleaning fucking regimen. I'm like, Jesus, what the fuck?
I mean, he had to clean his feet, Kevin.
What's that?
You know why they had to clean his feet?
No.
Because he walked on water. They wouldn't go in them.
Oh, yeah, that is quite the process. Whenever your feet are water repellent, then yeah, I guess that solves the
hydrophobic feet. It's crazy.
Well, that's how I flirt with Christian girls. I tell them I'll make them walk on water. Let me part them Red Seas. Sorry, that's terrible.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say that's how I flirt with Christian girls. I drown them and then fuck their dead bodies.
You're all witches.
No. I found them on Christian fondle, but that's a bit much. Yeah.
Hey, you know what? No one. There is one particular person out in California who had a good time with her husband. Admittedly, having a threesome with a masseuse. Chelsea Handler is in the news.
Chelsea Handler.
Oh,
Chelsea Handler.
Yeah, she's top of the line when it comes to functioning alcoholics. I definitely.
Yeah, she is. She admits having a threesome with her masseuse, and that led to the breakup with her and her husband. Believe it or not. NBC executive Ted Harbert. The American comedian dated Harbert between 2006 and 2010 with difficulty in separating work from personal life given as a reason for her separation. Go figure, it was adultery.
Yeah, if you're not invited to the threesome, it's not going to work.
It's cheating if you're not invited.
I don't want to sound like Dr. Phil there, but that is something that he would exactly say, like, and how did you feel about not being invited to the fucking threesome? It's like, I don't know, Dr. Phil. She just fucks anybody she sees. So this marriage is over. And do you feel it's over too? Yes! She keeps sucking everybody's dick. She won't stop.
It's a fucking marathon.
I mean, she's drunk for breakfast, so I don't know if her inhibitions are really limited. If she sees the right masseuse, she's all over him. Or whatever.
Here's the going along with the idea. We got a Ghost Luster milkshake singer Kellis, 43, is dating Ghostbusters actor Bill Murray, 72 years old, after a whirlwind romance. Now, it's kind of weird because Robert De Niro and Al Pacino, by the time their kids are grown, Bill Murray will be shooting them with his ray gun because they will be ghosts and far dead from the whole fact right there. But yeah, these older guys are getting these women pregnant. And how do you feel about that, Jonathan? If you're in your 70s, do you say to yourself, fuck it, that kid's never gonna know me anyways, because I'll be dead?
I mean, good for them. I think if they can, liberally pull that and be happy with it, and they get what they want. You know what I mean? I was saying that was it Kellis brought Bill to her yard, and he was like, "I'm sorry, I have to charge. I'm Bill Murray. Excuse me."
That's true. That's true.
And yeah. I have to assume like she's the one getting more out of this relationship than he might be, you know. And
you feel like she's actually bringing milkshakes, or is it more like cottage cheese?
I just hope she makes the yard nicer.
See, like, honestly, I can't, I don't know, because dude, if it was like the other way around, right? We would never say like, well, we're pretty sure the guy is getting more out of fucking that old lady over there than she is. Like, he wouldn't say that. I mean, right?
it depends on the old lady. You know what I mean? Like, if it was
it was Cloris Leachman's dead body that still technically had a heartbeat, and they're like, there you go, pal. You know,
I mean, I'm thinking Angela Bassett. You can go with Cloris Leachman.
Still, man, that's if you go too hard on Angela Bassett, that's a murder he wrote. You know.
Oh. You know, the funny thing is that I heard that Kellis actually rented a vagina from Madonna recently. And
how does that work? Like from Japan?
You can just, vagina.
This is how it works. You've seen that little Hellraiser box thing, right, from the movie? Yeah. So it kind of looks like that, only there's no heaven button. It just her vagina is an entity into itself.
Eats it.
You are sucked into a fifth dimension of hell through Madonna's vagina, and all of the children that would have been born, we'll call them Plan B kids, come to haunt you and kill you throughout the vortex of what we can only assume to be Madonna's vagina. It's
God, that would have been such a better ending for Scrooge if she had come out of the woodwork and been the ghost of the future. Been like, this is how it's gonna go, Bill. If you don't know better, the vagina is gonna eat you. All right, it's coming for you.
Or like she lifted her dress and the vagina just got to talk for her. I heard
she slimed me.
They actually used Madonna's vagina for the movie Teeth. You know,
that makes a lot of sense. It's a material world.
Yeah. Well, that was when the vagina was a lot younger, still had teeth. Now it doesn't. They won't even put false ones down there. The dentists are freaked out. Plus, you need
when that vagina
we sunk ourselves to pussy dentures.
The pussy dentures. It sounds like a movie or a TV show on TLC yet to happen. Right after Duggars, you're gonna see the.
You'll see the pussy dentures on TLC. You'll see Doctors in Strange Places. They'll call it dentists without borders. You know, they'll be down in that badge.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine all these female rappers getting their grills
down there? Yeah, I mean that changes my whole opinion of England if they end up getting.
That's a way to bedazzle the vag right there. I'm telling you right now, we are breaking some ground here, fellas. Sparky's got something. Sparky's got something on the big board.
Thinking, not stinking.
What do we got?
Oh, look at that. It says, I need you to stay still. My aim is shaky. I'm only assuming Bill Murray as a Ghostbuster getting the ghosts out of Madonna's vagina there out. Am I right there, Sparky?
Yeah.
It's like a Pac-Man ghost. Is that a Pac-Man ghost?
That is a moist.
It looks like a Pac-Man ghost got out of her vagina. That's I think that's the only ghost that Sparky knows how to draw without it looking like a horrible symbol of the Klan. You know.
Wow.
I mean, go larger on that concept.
Is that Inky, Blinky, or Dot?
I mean, they're really doing some crazy advertisements for the anti-abortion sort of crowd right there. If they're showing Bill Murray pulling ghosts out of vaginas, they're like, look, if you can't get an abortion until after 6 weeks. Before
that's the thing, though. You can have the abortion, but the spirit and the ghost will stay inside the uterus. So who are you going to call?
A gynecologist.
No, you call the Ghostbuster. They come in there, they zap the fucking thing out of there.
No, call a doctor. Call a licensed professional, please.
Yeah, find somebody that knows what to do.
There's a lot of them.
a young priest and an old priest, maybe some Evian.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, it's the end of an era there, Tony.
Call Stanley Steamer.
Stanley Steamer to steam that shit the fuck out, right? End of an era, Tony. End of an era.
I like Sparky's art. Thank you very much for adding that to the experience.
No, Sparky is the best artist, and you got to be careful because he does have distinct facial hair and an art that is always underappreciated. So you know what that have? Distinct facial hair and art that goes underappreciated while in his bunker full of toys.
Now, can I ask him a question? What character would you like to see have a movie made out of all the characters on your wall?
Well, it's already happening. Like Disney's doing a lot of Star Wars series coming up, so it's everything that I wanted to see. The one real character that I really want to see that they're not going to have is Mara Jade, but you just can't. Bakers can't be choosers. You're getting all the other characters, but you're not going to get her.
And if you could play anybody in the Star Wars movies, who would you want to play?
Truthfully, I would want to play Thrawn, Grand Admiral Thrawn.
There you go. So he's not the one that gets killed by Darth Vader, right?
No. He's the one that's going to be the new big villain in the Ahsoka series.
Oh, good.
But
I
his
like
character or the real life actor is dead though, right?
The real life actor that played that voice Thrawn in the cartoons?
No, in Ahsoka.
What do you mean?
In the Ahsoka series coming out?
Yeah, Thrawn. No, he only disappeared. They didn't kill him off.
No. I think the real life actor actually died, didn't he?
Oh no, he one of the Jedi, Ray Stevens. He played one. He wasn't Thrawn.
Ray Stevens. Yeah. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
He played Punisher too, in War Machine. Bring that full circle. There you go.
He's actually playing. He's actually going to play a Jedi that survives Order 66, but we're not going to get into that yet.
Well, it's all foreign to me. I'm a Star Trek fan, so I appreciate your time, but I want Utopia, and you guys like the Rebels.
I know you want all the stars to live together.
Well, that's the cool part about Star Trek is somehow they found a way to not only overcome any obstacle but find other life outside and get along to some degree where they have an agreement with each other, and then they still get thrown some curveballs throughout the way. I think that the Next Generation was written pretty nice. I like the Q episodes are pretty fun.
The other character they just can't seem to kill off. He must have died 4 times already, and they keep bringing him back.
They do, yeah. The Picard series is okay, and then you had what was the Voyager? Am I right on that one? Voyager.
Yeah, Voyager.
That. Voyager was Voyager actually caught a lot of momentum in the later years. Now, at the beginning, started off way too slow. It's almost like they wanted to kind of replicate some storylines from the Next Generation.
First season, Kevin.
Yeah, I know. First seasons are always tough, Like hell, the first season of the Podguyz podcast. I mean, Sparky wasn't on here.
Now? There's just Star Trek Discovery, right?
That's recent.
Yeah, but that's
I don't think they'll have TV shows like they did Star Trek Voyager or Star Trek Next Generation anymore because they cancel them too fast. Like the nature of having a show build itself and get its legs under itself and have the writers learn and the actors learn how to really become the people and the show that they want to make.
They had some weird episodes too where they're like, hey, here's a planet that's Africa. And you're like, huh. Looking back, you're like, a little dicey right there. Or where you're like, hey, here's a planet where it's just all thin, blonde, attractive people with blue eyes. And you're like,
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, here's a planet with all women that love Riker. And
you're like the porno.
Yeah, it was this close to a porno with that one. They weren't wearing much.
It gave off the porn vibes,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can find that fan fiction anywhere you want.
But there were some other varying degrees of episodes where they I still like the one where they find this ship and it was a cryogenically frozen people from the past and they end up de-thawing them successfully. The one guy was very rich, and he demands to speak to the captain, the person in charge, as he put it many times, right? And he talks to Picard in such a way that as if he is exerting himself. He feels confident because he knows he has money and power, so he still thinks right from his past. And he says that he needs to call up his lawyer, and Picard at this point is a little frustrated because he's got a whole ship to run. And he says, "Your lawyer is more than dead by now." He says, "I know that, but he's still not grasping the idea." He says, "Well," he says, I need the number to my bank then." He explains how much money he's gonna have, and Picard laughs a little bit, just to himself, a little snicker. He says, "Oh yes, money. They got rid of that concept years ago. People kept choosing money over the morally correct answer, so they got rid of it." And he says, "Well, how do you live then?" He says, "Well, we just simply take what we need." And it was one of those groundbreaking exchanges between characters when you now realize that in the future, money that we made up one day, right? In the future, they are so advanced that they are just worried about the fate of humanity to further go where they haven't gone before, where the past human is worried about having more than they've never had before.
And have you noticed it's always about warmongering societies? Like no matter where you go, like you feel like they've gone to a utopia where everybody can get along with each other. They've reached the limits of space, but yet still everybody's trying to annihilate each other as far as races are concerned.
Sparky, you got something?
Not really, because with the Star Trek series, Tony and Kevin is right. It's like they're just it's.
Well, there was this one situation where the Enterprise came along this planet that they said that there was only 2 people left. There was only 2 beings left on the planet, and they just showed a little house there. Are you familiar with the episode there, Jonathan?
Yes, I saw that episode. It was
a very good episode.
The old man and his wife.
Yes, an old man and his wife, and it turns out that the old man was a creature or a species that they thought had been long dead. He turns himself in and all that nice stuff. That it was all just a mirage, and that's how powerful his species actually was. But it was kind of a rug pull sort of thing. But what do you got there?
No, I was trying to signal Sparky for Wheel of Fortune, but
Wheel of Fortune. That is what I was trying to lead with, the end of an era, Tony. End of an era. End of an era. So the Wheel of Fortune is almost done spinning for Pat Sajak. The Wheel of Fortune star has announced that he'll be retiring as the host of the game show after more than 4 decades. Which after 4 decades, I could solve the puzzle. It's about fucking time. Holy shit. 40 years. How can he say with enthusiasm? No U's up there. No Q's. Isn't that weird? No Q's. Go ahead, spin again.
An E. Why would you choose an E?
Damn
it, there's no more R's. Please stop. I think he did snap.
I buy a vowel? Sure, yeah, buy a vowel. A C. C is not a vowel.
Not a vowel.
C is not a vowel.
Not a vowel.
Sorry, Jonathan. What were you saying?
I'm just saying he snapped a few years ago. I remember seeing in the news where like Pat Sajak just like he just couldn't take it. He was like, damn it, that's not the right answer, right? Or something to like one of the contestants. And like he immediately the next day had to like apologize, and he was really tired and couldn't take it. But let's be real. You do the same thing for 41 years and you're sitting there like, dude, did nobody go to school and take phonics? Did just like everybody just stop trying to play Scrabble at some point? Like, how are you guys not able to get this stuff?
Now, the funny thing, John, is that I don't know if you've ever seen like the pull away from that, but they actually have the alphabet and they put out the letter. They put out the letters. They darken the letters. They have A through Z above the thing, and they take the letters out and they blacken them out.
I've never seen that. That. I mean, it's just so simple. What's Vanna White going to do?
People are wondering when Vanna White privilege will be taking her leave as well. Will they retire together? Will they be
I don't know.
replacing
She
them?
may actually be the new host of
I say she goes to
I
Jeopardy.
didn't like her as the host. She was terrible. You know why? She kept saying this bullshit. Every time somebody said, say like any letter, like, oh, a G, she would say, I don't have any G's. You ain't the letter keeper here, bitch. You are
But
not
she
the
was.
keeper of the letters.
She was, though.
Does the board have any G's? Pat Sajak would say, well, I don't know, Vanna, are there any fucking G's up there? Or can we see some G's? He didn't say, well, hold on, let me check my pocket for G's. You know, obviously it's just how you're wording it the whole time. So Vanna White should not be taking over for this bullshit, but whoever it is, we can, you know what they should do? Call him Chuck Woolery. See the fuck if he's
the original host, Chuck Woolery. He was
bring
the
him
original.
back. Be like, hey man,
Bring him back from the dead. Just wheel him in a gurney.
I always loved that movie, that TV show, Love Connection. That was great. Where
great.
he would always interview some weird short guy with like a Jeff Gordon mustache from 1992. And he always
They should weekend the Bernies the shit out of him.
That would be hilarious.
Chuck Woolery. Oh no, that wasn't Chuck Woolery. Never mind. But Chuck Woolery actually had like the most amount of bloopers on game shows. Like every single time you see a blooper on a game show, it was mostly Chuck Woolery.
Yeah.
They should hire Alec Baldwin with a gun that has nothing but blanks in there.
Bang bang.
And the next letter is
call it Baldwin roulette.
Yeah.
I was told they're all blanks.
You could just call it bullseye.
Or here's what you do, Tony. This solves two things at the same time. Let Donald Trump host Wheel of Fortune, but tell him he can't run for president if he does it. He'll take the Wheel of Fortune. Say, all right, I'll do the Wheel of Fortune. Because that's all he really wants anyways, is a game show to host back. That's all he wants.
For 40 years.
The goddamn game show. Give him the game show.
Yeah. Give it to him until he dies.
Please. Just let him try to figure out the letters. He won't be able to get it. It'll be so much fun to watch.
It would be great because they'd say, can I buy a vowel? And he would say, yeah, go ahead, buy a vowel. I know all the words. I know the best words. The words. Go ahead, buy a vowel. I'd like to buy an E. E's not a vowel. E is not a vowel.
I put all the E's in my bathroom.
I like how my theory was when he proclaimed Jerusalem the capital of Israel, right? My theory was he lost at Trivial Pursuit because he said Jerusalem is the capital of Israel. And that was the last question. Like, actually, Donald, trick question. It doesn't have a capital. He's like, I'll fix that tomorrow. Put it down today. And declares it. Fucking declares it for the little country.
I'm gonna send my secretary to get that.
I'm gonna write all over that Wheel of Fortune board. All right, it's gonna be my words now.
Yeah. I'll solve the puzzle for you. It's called
14 vowels, no consonants.
This is where the hurricane is.
For you. It's called 4 more years of Trump. There you are. Look at that. No influence there.
Yeah.
And he'll have instant ratings too, because the only people that vote for him to a majority degree are senile and old as fuck. And you got Vanna White there.
Yeah.
She doesn't care who she works with. You know,
she's so pretty.
He would show her the locker room.
Look at vagina. Look, you can just grab her by the pussy. She'll like it. She smiles. She turns the numbers. She does what I say.
Anyways, I digress.
I love this show. You guys are great.
Oh man, we're just having some fun, man.
John, we're gonna roll out the red carpet for you, sir. If people are going to get in touch with you, if they are going to come to a comedy show, what do you have coming up next that they can come and see you?
All right. So like I said, in July, I will be at the Comedy Store the second week of July. And then
now, where is that? In Los Angeles?
Oh, yeah, that's in Los Angeles on Sunset Boulevard, the world famous Comedy Store. I believe it's Sunset just before La Cienega. If you look at a lot of like stand-up specials like Dave Chappelle or Louis C.K., a lot of people perform there. And I was a regular for a while before the pandemic, but now I'm back in the mix over there. So
if I remember correctly, Chevy Chase's niece just had a like an open chair event or something like that, and there was like freaking like 14 major comics that came to the open mic event and just did material for freaking forever.
Well, LA is the place comedians go to work out. You don't get paid. You don't get like a lot of like, green lights into your stand-up special necessarily. But you do go there to rehearse if you're about to do a spot on Jimmy Kimmel, or if you're about to, do the Oscars or whatever. But all the comics in Los Angeles are generally like especially the big ones. They use all these different rooms to work out their material, and then they go on the road or they do their specials outside of Los Angeles. So I'm hopefully going to be hitting the road in 2024. And I'll be working out dates later for that. Tomorrow, I'm sorry, because I'm so busy. I have to get my schedule in order. I have a movie that I'm acting in August and September. We film in Berlin and Tokyo in August, and then Atlanta and LA in September. And I play a drummer, and it's the movie's called The Silk Road, and it's a crime thriller, international crime thriller about a drug that gets distilled into a dye that they then put into a dress that's going to be shown at the Met Gala. But in the process, this sort of like Bonnie and Clyde or Mickey and Mallory, if you remember what is it, the Natural Born Killers, steals the dress. And I play the drummer of her boyfriend in his punk band out there in Berlin, and I get to basically tell him, you know what, you're ruining the band, and you got to get out. I'm sorry. Have fun with your girlfriend. And so I am an actual drummer. I used to be in a rock band called Dirty Cakes, and we had 2 hit singles on the radio. So this is an easy transition for me to go into like playing this character. And I hopefully that movie will be out next year.
That's really exciting. Good for you. Congratulations.
I'm
Thank
also
you.
a drummer over here, my man.
Yeah. Rock and roll.
It is the best. If you can master the drums, every other instrument feels like child's play. It really does. I play the drums, piano, guitar, harmonica. Well, harmonica was easy, very easy stuff. But are there any other instruments you play besides drums, or no?
Percussion, drums and percussion, bongos, congas, you name it. I've always just been mainly like a drummer.
Nice. I was a timpani wizard.
A timpani wizard?
We got some bands in the area that need a drummer. You should give us your number. We'll drop your number to them. Hey,
I was happy. Sorry, say that again, Sparky.
In the area that needs a drummer, don't we, Kevin?
What's that?
We got 2 bands in the area that's looking for a drummer.
We actually do have bands in the area that are looking for drummers. We have We had the Boog on last week, and they are always looking for a drummer.
No, they have somebody now.
They have somebody now. Well,
yeah.
there is running in flip flops. They are looking for a drummer right now because their old drummer got a little bit too
handsy.
Happy. Yeah,
handsy.
Happy handsy.
Yeah, you got to be careful of that.
It's almost like he just stole all the groupies. Some of the groupies turned out to be the other guy's girlfriend.
He couldn't keep his hi-hat to himself.
Yeah.
Or
you don't want to do that. Well, I am in a new
dick,
project.
most importantly. He kept fucking people.
Yeah.
Man, woman, didn't matter.
I'm
This
in
is
a
the
new
problem,
project.
man. I got these kids on Viagra.
Oh, let him talk, man. Let him talk. Go for it, John. Come on.
I love Kevin. He's got a great personality. I'm in a new project called Wild Points. It's me and a DJ, similar to like Travis Barker and DJ AM. And we're going to be playing Vegas soon. And we got a residency at the Palms, and then we're going to be playing another show in LA. But if I get out to the East Coast, I am going to make it my mission to hang out with all of you guys. I want to hang out in that basement with you, Sparky, and check out all those tours.
Guaranteed you'll never come out alive.
I'll end up in one of those boxes. Is that it?
Those used to be living people. Yeah. No, come on to the East Coast, man. We could set up a show real quick. Doesn't take long, It's gather up some people. The only way to sell out in this area real quick is just I guess VFWs are real easy because everyone's already there. They're always going to be there. Great crowds, no matter what. As long as you I always try to thank all the veterans for their service because those are people that were sold a bill of bad goods but still wanted to do something good for the country anyways. And here now they got ringing in their ears, arthritis fucking everywhere. Sometimes they're missing a goddamn limb and all that nice stuff. But yeah, get out here to the East Coast. We have hills and shit out here. Hills and mountains and all that nice stuff.
Well, you have to forgive me, guys. I have another meeting coming up in the near
No, that's
future.
okay. That's why I was wrapping up. We were rocking and
Okay.
rolling.
Cool. But I really appreciate
Jonathan,
your time. I hope
thank
I
you
can
very
come back
much
and
for
do.
coming out, spending your time with us. We are the Podguyz Podcast. Make sure you like, share, comment below. Make sure you share the show. Share the show. I'm Tony
All the
Kaz.
things. Kevin Neary.
Of course, the Le Picasso. Let's
Fuck
fuck it.
it.
I'm
Guys, thank
Jonathan.
you very much. And we'll talk to you soon. Have a great night. Bye.